All right, let's get right into it. What if you could take the knowledge that's already in your head and turn it into a business that actually scales? One that makes money without you having to trade every single hour of your day for a paycheck? Well, today we're going to break down the exact playbook that successful entrepreneurs are using to turn their expertise into digital products that sell. Does this sound familiar? This feeling right here. This is where the journey starts for so many entrepreneurs. Sarah Motzi, she was a web designer juggling like 8 to 10 clients at once, and the projects just dragged on forever. It is the classic service provider trap, right? Your income is completely tied to your time, and you eventually hit a wall. There's just no more time to sell. And that burnout, it usually comes with some serious money stress. I mean, take George Pitts. Before he built his 7-figure business, he was an IT guy living paycheck to paycheck with a credit score under 500. It's this vicious cycle of stress and feeling broke that just feels totally impossible to break out of. But this is the light at the end of the tunnel. This is the whole promise of a digital product business. It's all about creating something of value once that you can sell over and over and over again. You completely separate your time from how much you can earn. So how do you actually do it? Well, it all boils down to 4 key pillars. Okay, first things first, you have to pick your battlefield. And look, if you're building this thing on your own, you can't fight a war that needs a whole army. You have to niche down. You got to cut through all the noise and become a huge fish in a really small pond. So what you're really doing is building what's called a micro-niche personal brand. And the key thing to get here is that you don't need everyone to know who you are. You just need the right people to know you. Think about it for a second. Alex Hormozy, he started just by talking about gyms. Eamon Godzi, he started with social media marketing. They found one tiny space and they completely dominated it first. And here's the strategy, laid out plain and simple. First, you pick one of those big battlefields where people are already spending a ton of money. Health, wealth, relationships. Then you zoom in. You find one specific, super painful problem inside that market. So instead of just health, you focus only on getting rid of knee pain. You become the knees over toes guy. That is how you dominate. Okay, so once you've got your niche, you need people to actually sell to. That brings us to our second pillar, which is all about building an audience that you truly own, not one that you're just renting. Now check this out, because this is a huge cautionary tale. George Pitts worked his tail off, posting 3 times a day to build this massive following on Instagram. 60,000 people. Then one day, poof, it was just gone. He got hit by report bots, and the entire platform he'd built his business on vanished from under his feet overnight. And this is the lesson he had to learn the hard way. Social media platforms, they're basically rented land. An algorithm can change, your account can get suspended, and you can get wiped out in an instant. But your email list, that's an asset. That is something you own. It's your direct line to your people that nobody can ever take away from you. All right, you've got a niche, you've got a way to reach your audience. Now you actually need something to sell them. This brings us to pillar number 3, crafting an offer that solves their problem and is built to scale. George Pitts has this absolutely brilliant analogy for this. He calls it the chicken, bird, eagle ladder. Your chicken offer, that's your low-cost, super low-risk entry point. Its whole job is just to turn a follower into a paying customer. Then you have the bird offer, which helps them get off the ground a bit. And finally, the eagle offer. That's your big, high-ticket program for the people who see the vision and are ready for a massive transformation. It's a ladder of increasing trust and value. But what really makes a great offer, especially one of those high-ticket eagle offers? It's not about stuffing more videos or more PDFs into it. Nope. The real secret is intense, deliberate focus. First, you have to solve one single, painful problem, not 10 different little problems. You have to get laser focused on that one big thing that is keeping your ideal customer awake at night. And you solve it for one very specific type of person. You've got to know their struggles, how they talk, what they want. You have to know them so well that when they read your offer, they feel like you're reading their mind. And finally, you give them one clear solution to that problem. And that solution is your digital product. That is the magic formula. One problem for one person with one solution. That's how you make something powerful that people actually want to buy. Now, when it comes to putting a price on that solution, you have to remember this, and this is huge. Price is only an issue when there's no value. You are not charging for how many videos are in the course or how many hours it took you to make it. You're charging for the result, for the transformation, for the relief from that painful problem. So you've got your niche, you've got your audience, and you've got a killer offer. The final pillar is the one that makes it all work without you burning out all over again. It's time to build the machine that lets you scale. You know, a lot of people think they're building a business, but what they're really doing is just building a more stressful, more demanding job for themselves. The whole goal here is to build a system, a machine that does 90% of the work for you 24/7, even when you're sleeping. And these right here, these are the gears that make that machine run. This isn't just a random list of software. It's a tech stack that's designed to work together, to automate everything. For example, a customer buys through ThriveCart. That can automatically trigger ActiveCampaign to send a welcome email, and at the exact same time, give them access to the course on MemberVault. The entire customer journey is automated. That's what saves you time, energy, and money, so you can focus on the big picture. So there you have it. Those are the 4 strategic pillars: niche, audience, offer, and systems. But, you know, even the most perfectly built machine won't run without the right fuel. And that fuel, the absolute foundation holding all of this up, is the entrepreneur's mindset. This is so important. People don't connect with perfection. They connect with authenticity. They connect with realness. When you share your struggles, your failures, it shows you're human. And it shows you have a real-world blueprint for getting through the exact challenges they're facing right now. It builds an incredible amount of trust. And finally, you got to understand this. Passive income does not mean effortless income. The digital world is always changing. Algorithms update, trends shift. Building a business that lasts means you have to keep innovating, keep adapting. The work doesn't stop when you launch the product. That's actually when it really begins. So, that's the playbook, the 4-pillar framework and the mindset that makes it all work. The only question left is, what expertise do you have right now? What painful problem could you solve for someone else? What could you turn into your first digital product, maybe even starting tomorrow?